All right. Well, now that we have a quorum, we will get our meeting started. We'll call the meeting to order at 8:34, and we'll get right through this stuff. So as far as guests, Bill Morris is here from Communications, who came to join our meeting tonight. And also Barbara Halpern is with us tonight. So, Bill, what we usually do is we allow guests to speak in the beginning of our meeting. So if you came here for something specific to say, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'd like to give my name and address.
No.
Basically, I'm going to thank you guys for sharing your Zoom meetings with us that we post up on TV9 and the webpage. Also, as a precaution, I just want to read something I wrote up. The Communication Commission suggests that members of the community be advised that any recording, broadcast, or rebroadcast by the township becomes public record. Caution should be observed making comments. I don't want to see anybody getting sued for something they said offhand. That's all. That's my concern. Any questions about that?
That's my concern too. I'm afraid it's going to slip right out.
In other words,
Well, anyway, can you hear me?
I'm saying if you can't prove that, you can get your. Pardon me?
I'm sorry, you have to say that again. That didn't come through. I don't know why.
Okay, you can't make an
I don't know if you're talking to
allegation. I'm not talking to anybody in particular, Barbara. I'm being very generic on purpose.
But you just mentioned me.
No, I'm saying I didn't say you. You said you're talking about me. I'm not talking about you personally.
No, I didn't say anything.
I'm just saying I don't want to see anybody, a neighbor, sue something they say without thinking. That's all.
Yes, and Margaret, what were you saying?
I feel like saying a whole lot of things.
Margaret was talking. I thought it was you, Barbara. I'm sorry.
That's why I'm laughing. Yeah, that's why I said, wait a minute, you're singling me out and I haven't said a word.
Basically, what Bill is saying is we have to be careful about what we say about residents. We can't say, oh, this resident got special treatment.
Unless you can prove it.
Right. We can't speculate about things like that. We just have to be careful since we have a record of these things. If we say something, if we speculate about an individual without proof and it's not true, then that individual can take steps, against the township. So it's just a word of.
It's just a cautionary, because anything I put up on YouTube or the station, somebody can Oprah it.
Okay.
That's my concern. And it was just, I don't want to see anybody get in trouble.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Barbara, do you have anything specific you would like to bring up tonight during this portion?
No, but in regards to that, I think members are indemnified by the township.
I don't think so. Not against malicious allegations. There's no indemnity for that.
No, I don't know what their indemnity covers, but they have some.
Right.
Okay. Well, in the interest of time, we're going to move on, and we'll move on to approving the minutes. I will before I make a motion to approve the minutes, there are a couple minor typos in the minutes. First one being in the emergency response and management report, number 1. This is very minor. 75 gallons. The word gallon is spelled wrong. I don't know if that matters. There's an S where there should be an A. Simple mistake. In section 4 of applications, part A, PB 2313, there are 2 letters at the end of one of the paragraphs, HO, that don't belong there. Another minor typo that, is of no consequence, but if we wanted them to be perfect, maybe that should be addressed. And finally, the very last sentence of the minutes says our next meeting is January 27th. That should read as December 27th.
Right.
So I will make a motion to accept the minutes with the exception of those 3 typos, as long as long as we fix those 3 typos, we can, I believe, approve minutes with amended minutes, fixing those 3 typos.
Yeah, second that.
All in favor?
I
Aye. Okay, amended minutes will pass.
Who seconded? Oh,
Okay.
John, you were first.
I made the motion. Yeah, Jason.
And Jason seconded. Okay.
So there are no emergency management or hazardous waste sites to discuss tonight. We have one planning board application, PB 2316, Paul Cuccinello Jr. It's a minor subdivision. I will read the intent of that. Well, I'll go through some basic information about that. It's block 5701, lot 50. That's located at 491 Dutch Mill Road. It's in the RA zone. It's got 585 feet of frontage on Dutch Mill Road. On the application, it states that it is 39 acres, but that is mistaken. It's actually 19 acres. They're requesting approval for a minor subdivision. They erroneously claim that they don't need any waivers or variances, but there is a variance required for the farmland buffer. 100-foot farmland buffer is required, and there's a barn that is about 80 feet from the boundary. So it protrudes 20 feet into the buffer, so they will need a variance for that. So that being said, the intent, the applicant proposes to subdivide lot 50 and 50Q farm in block 5701 into 2 lots. The smaller 1.5 acre lot for purposes of the application is marked 50.1, where there is a vacant farmhouse is located. The applicant proposes to sell the farmhouse to the manager of his adjoining paintball facility. The applicant or the party to purchase the property will obtain any and all necessary permits and CO of the property. No additional improvements are proposed. The remaining subdivided lot, which will be identified as lot 50, will be continued to be used for agricultural purposes and is presently under a farm lease. The applicant proposes to use this property as a buffer for his adjacent existing paintball facility. The easement that is shown on minor subdivision plan off Dutch Mill Road is for the applicant's access into this property. So basically what they're doing is it's a 19-acre property, and they want to make one new lot out of that, a 1.5-acre residential lot that the house will be located. So they want to separate the farm from the residential use. So it would be, I think, 18 acres for the farm and 1.5 acres for the residence. Now, one thing I don't understand is there isn't an easement shown on the plan. There's an easement for an adjoining property, but that easement doesn't have anything to do with this property. And it says the easement that is shown on Dutch Mill is for applicants' access into this property. And I believe they're talking about access into the paintball facility. So I'll read these 2 sentences again, and you guys can tell me what you think. The applicant proposes to utilize this property as a buffer for his adjacent existing paintball facility. The easement that is shown on the minor subdivision plan off Dutch Mill Road is for the applicant's access into this property. So it sounds like they want to make like an access road from this property on Dutch Mill to the adjoining paintball facility, which has frontage on Delsey Drive. And that would raise some environmental concerns, but it's not clear if that's exactly what their purpose is.
It says 30-foot wide South Jersey easement, which I'm assuming is South Jersey gas.
Right. So that easement leads to a facility back there that's not on this property, because this, I think it straddles both properties. And it looks like some of it's on the adjoining property.
This is saying 20 foot, so maybe 20 foot on this property. And
Yeah.
10 foot on this property.
I think that's
what the hell
how
is
it
this dash line?
I think that's just the setback for the other property, maybe. I'm not certain.
Would be the gas line.
This is a corner inside a secured fenced area. That's where you're saying there's utilities.
Yeah. So considering that this line is, the easement is for a utility easement, there must be some kind of utility station back there. So otherwise, there's no easement that would show property for access on any property.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So that might be addressed in the engineer's comments here. Engineering comments. All right, well, I'll start with planning comments here. Or actually, variance and waivers required. So the engineer recognizes a farmland buffer of 100 feet is required along the rear yard where a newly subdivided lot will be adjacent to a qualified farm. The barn structure on the residential lot will be set back approximately 80 feet from the rear lot line, which would encroach into the required buffer. Implications as far as we're concerned, environmentally, if there's a barn, 20 feet into the buffer. So planning comments. Let's see. The applicant should describe the nature of the proposed easement to Lot 1 of Block 5012. So, which is currently just woods behind the paintball course. Is access to the rear of that property needed from Dutch Mill Road? Will there be a driveway constructed into this area? So the engineer seems to think that the easement that they're talking about is going to be from this residential lot along the farm field and into the paintball facility.
Oh, here it is, over here, John. This is what there's access easement.
Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. And that only goes
to right here.
Right. Proposed access to block 5012 lot 1. Okay, so it is on the plan.
He's just putting that there, so in case he sells this, what else would you need?
Well,
across your own
because
property?
that's not this lot. 50, that block and lot is the paintball facility.
Well, yeah, this guy is a paintball facility.
Right.
So I'm saying, why would he need an easement across his own property? The only reason he would need the easement is if he plans on maybe selling this property and retaining the easement.
Right, so that he could access
his property
facility.
Correct.
Right. So there are, I believe, environmental implications of creating a secondary access point to that paintball facility because this is all wooded over here. So it does show on the plans where the access easement would be. It's on the west side of the property from Dutch Mill Road, and it goes back, I don't know if it's labeled how long it is.
500 feet.
Okay, so a 500 foot long by 30 foot wide access easement that goes from Dutch Mill Road to I guess it would be the rear of the paintball facility. And the rear portion of the paintball facility is all wooded. So they would definitely have to be clearing trees to.
They love to do that.
Well, they have done a lot of clearing, and that was.
Oh, yes.
That was all proposed on their application, their planning application when they were originally approved.
Yeah, but I think that they went far beyond what they originally proposed.
Well, I don't know what kind of freedom they have to do any more tree clearing if it wasn't on their original application. I don't know if they would have to go back to the planning board if they wanted to do further tree clearing and put it in another access onto that lot. I would imagine they would, but I'm not certain of that. but I think we should definitely make some kind of comment that further tree cutting on the paintball facility site, is an environmental hazard, considering how much trees it might be could affect possibly stormwater.
Doesn't it seem like they have an awful lot of impervious area on that huge lot? I mean, have you ever seen the view of it? Have you ever been in there?
I haven't been in there, but looking at the overhead view of it on
Yes.
satellite, I can't tell if that's gravel around the whole
Wow.
field or if it's pavement.
I don't know.
I imagine it's got to be gravel, because if they added all that pavement, that would be a major violation of their approved application.
It'd be nice to take a look, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, the zoning officer has the authority to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And when was this approved in the first place? When was the whole thing? What?
The paintball place?
Yeah.
I don't know, 2016 maybe?
Oh, okay.
I'm not really seeing the nexus between the paintball place and this application. This guy's asking to subdivide a lot of industrial road. He just so happens to end the paintball place, but there's nothing proposed on the paintball place.
Well, it's not proposed on the application, but it's implied that he's going to, that this right of way that he's proposing will be used to access the paintball facility. So if he's going to create a right of way to the paintball facility, it's logical to imply that that right of way will continue through the paintball facility.
Well, I'm not sure where that's implied. Is that stated in the application? I mean,
It's not.
you're implying that, but I mean, the applicant hasn't implied that. I'm not saying that it's not.
Nope, you just froze. You guys just froze.
It's not the first time,
Okay.
at least for us. We've had several freezings.
Board approval to grant himself an access easement. I don't even know why he's got that on the plan. It's not.
Well, if he wants,
Yeah, that wasn't clear. I didn't understand why he needs an access easement. It's mostly on the small new lot, correct?
Well, again, here's some speculation on my part, which again is purely speculation, is that maybe he intends to sell this parcel once he's done with this subdivision, and he wants to retain access to his property through this parcel. But again, he doesn't need board approval for that. He can grant what it's his property. He can grant whatever access he wants through it. Now, why he included that in the plan, that would be something the applicant would have to answer. But
well, because if he doesn't isolate that as an access easement, you're saying to create this access easement here, he doesn't need board approval for that?
no. Why
So
would
he could just create an access easement and then own that easement and then sell the rest of this parcel. So if he sells this parcel, he can isolate that little piece.
Sure.
Wouldn't he need board approval to isolate an access easement separate from this
An
property?
easement isn't a subdivision. It's simply a grant of right of way over a piece of property. It's like, if
Right.
you want to buy into a piece of property behind your house, you can grant me an easement if you want to access my property.
Doesn't require any board approval
Yeah, there's no board approval.
because he owns the whole thing right now. Once he sells off that property, then there would be
He
maybe.
would retain the easement, but the property is sold to this guy. This guy, if someone bought this parcel, they still own the property that underlies the easement. He just simply has a right of way over top of it.
Okay, well, if my thoughts of including comments about a different parcel is inappropriate in this and you guys overrule me on that, then I will abide by that. And maybe it would be more appropriate just to go to this meeting as a resident and ask those questions and not include it on our comment sheet.
I mean, I'm not saying it'd be inappropriate to ask the question. I mean, he did put it on the sheet, but I mean, we're getting off track. We're talking about speculating if this guy has filed his approvals on a separate project and stuff like that. I just think that we should focus on this application specifically.
Yeah, I don't think there's any harm in saying something about the tree clearing, because that's still an issue, but, or at least a consideration.
Yeah, and according to the plan, this access easement is within the tree line. It's right at the tree line, but you can see the tree line here and the access easement there. So there may be tree clearing required for the access easement, but if he doesn't need approval for the access easement, then
even the tree clearing isn't something that can be prevented.
As far as just isolating this or separating this one lot into two lots, a residential lot and a farming lot, I don't believe there's any environmental concern as far as that goes. My only concern is with the access easement that leads into the paintball facility. But I completely understand Jason's point also that that's not part of this application, and maybe we should just focus on what's on the application and not speculate.
This is a farm now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any comment on it from environmental perspective.
And can you give me the number of this application again?
PB 2316.
Thank you. But he will need a variance, huh? Because of the barn?
Yeah, the barn is within the farm buffer.
So why is this?
Variance, or is that just a waiver? Does it specify that? Or?
Yeah, because why is it coming to the planning board if
Well, it's not a use variance. I mean, planning board can grant it.
True, but it's
So long as they're not.
Yeah, I guess it would be a waiver.
Yeah.
it's a waiver. Okay. And that's what he's coming. Oh, he's coming into subdivide. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was a variant.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just one. I think it's like a legal question. I've always had that question. Like when you're dealing with buffers, is it actually technically a variance or is it a waiver? And which
Right.
I mean, for practicality purposes, it doesn't really matter. It's more of a legal determination of what the threshold would be.
It probably makes a difference in the fees.
Is that a variance? Or is it,
That's probably just the code section.
yeah, that's what I thought. Also.
What was that?
It was just a technical question on the engineer's report of the way they labeled something.
Oh, okay.
Well, and as far as the information that is presented to us strictly about this application and this one existing lot or the two proposed lots, I would say we have no comment. So we should decide whether or not we want to make a comment about the possible implications of the environmental effect that an easement may have on the paintball facility lot.
Yeah, I think we should. To me, it looks like it's all paved, the whole thing.
Yeah, well, that isn't relevant to this.
I know, but it's not that anymore.
The only thing I think that would be relevant to this is the access that goes across this lot into the other lot, because it's part of the same access. I think if we start talking about impervious cover that doesn't have to do with the access easement, then it might be going a little too far beyond the scope of what we're covering in this portion.
Okay.
But I agree with you that is a concern if that's all pavement, but I imagine it would be gravel or else it would be a major violation.
Who knows?
In the parking lot of the paintball place?
No, you know where all the shipping containers are?
Like in that field?
Yeah, in that field, there's like a wide band all the way across that.
Yeah, Yeah, I've never been back there. I can't see
From
that.
satellite, from satellite, it's either gravel or pavement. I imagine it's gravel. I hope it's gravel. You can kind of see it. You can kind of see it. So this is where all the shipping containers are,
Okay.
and then you can see there's kind of that gray border around it.
Okay. He has like a giant fence around there, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like,
Yeah, so that would be right along the fence. So we have to decide if we want to say that it may have environmental implications on the adjoining property, or if we should not include that on our comment sheet for this application.
I don't think it's appropriate to put it in because it just doesn't relate to what the application's about. I think, if anything, it's a question, like what's the intention for putting it in to get to the rear of the paintball place, but it's really impossible to use that as a point of concern.
Yeah, because it really wouldn't have any outcome on their ability to subdivide this lot.
That's right. And we don't know what his intention is. We'd like to know.
Right. Okay, well, that being the case, I agree with you, and I think Jason made a great point about that. So I would suggest we make no comment as far as our environmental review on PB 2316.
All right.
Okay.
Barbara, do you have something, comment?
Yeah. Were you referring to like the road on the outside of the fenced area?
Yeah.
Okay, that was on the original plan for them
As
to be
paved?
able.
Is it paved?
I don't believe so. I believe it was a dirt road to get vehicles around the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. It looks like gravel from satellite. It looks like it's all gray. So.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd have to look at the plans again.
I mean, it's relevant for this application, so we will go with no comment for this. And I think someone should try to attend this meeting and ask them about possible implications on the other lot, because there will be environmental concerns if there's tree cutting on that other lot that's already heavily developed.
well, I would think any expansion on that property would require another application to the board, would not?
It would, yeah.
I will likely be at the planning board meeting. I'm happy to ask for clarification.
Okay,
Nobody else is going to be there.
great.
I want to say, I mean, again, I'm talking about speculation. I'm doing a lot of it tonight myself, but I think I had heard at some point from someone that this gentleman, and again, full disclosure, 100% speculation, was possibly interested in maybe building a home or something in the back portion of the paintball property for himself. And then he ended up acquiring this property. And I believe that maybe the manager or something
Yeah.
that manages the paintball facility is living or
And
going to
that's-
reside in this property. And then he intends on developing his own home somewhere. I don't know if it's on this lot or on the paintball lot or somewhere in there, but we can get further clarification on that at the board meeting.
And that's stated in the application that his intent for the residential lot is keeping or selling that residential lot with the house to the manager of the paintball facility. Not that it has any,
Bearing on it, but
environmental
yeah.
bearings, but
Okay.
okay. So it's no comment on that. So I'll move on to old business. Piney Hollow grant update. At the Township Committee meeting last night, the committee approved, I believe it was a resolution for engineering fees for CME. Engineering fees not to exceed, I believe it was $37,000. So that the grant is moving along and making the appropriate steps to continue on being accomplished. Barbara, have you heard any other updates besides the township approval for the engineering costs?
I was at the meeting last night and I asked about the bid packet and when that would be happening. And they said that they'll be voting on advertising the bid packet either at the next meeting or the meeting after that. So it is moving along.
Okay. Good news. And next agenda item, Malga Lake Park. I attended the meeting a couple weeks ago and asked if there are grants being pursued. And although Mr. Finley wasn't there to confirm it, the mayor said he's pretty sure that grants are being pursued for that. And the clerk also noted that they were in touch with a group for children with special needs and asking them about improvements to the park that would accommodate groups with special needs, which was encouraging to hear. So improvements to at least the playground area of Malaga Lake Park seem to be proceeding. So we'll keep an eye on that and hopefully be involved. I requested that the Environmental Commission be involved in any improvements, since it's something we've been working on for a long time and we have in-depth knowledge about the park and we could at least provide some valuable feedback. So those requests seem to be recepted by the Township Committee. And old business, I didn't put this on the agenda, but I feel that it's appropriate to talk about the 2024 membership. I also brought that to the Environmental Commission membership. I brought that to the attention of the Township Committee and asked them to appoint people, a liaison and alternates that could make more of an effort to show up, and they were receptive of that request. So hopefully next month we have some new members that are dedicated to our commission. But I haven't heard anything other than that. I guess we'll find that out.
I'm sorry. When did you ask that at a meeting?
Yeah, the Township Committee meeting. I'm not sure of the date. The 12th, December 12th. Okay. I brought that to their attention. We talked about it last meeting that
right.
We had members that weren't showing up. Barbara, do you have a comment?
Yeah, at last night's meeting, I mentioned about being there when you discussed that with them, and that in the past they had reached out to the chair and asked them for recommendations, and they said that they have reached out to you. Is that correct?
They have not reached out to me, but I did send them an email before I made those comments and recommended members for alternate positions.
Maybe that's what they meant.
Yeah, so they do have some input from me.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I recommended Mindy and Bill Petrovich because they've both attended our meetings pretty regularly. Mindy always has some valuable input, and she seems to share our cause. So hopefully they'll be receptive to that. We'll move on to new business, potential projects for next year, for 2024. Obviously, something in Piney Hollow will be appropriate if we get the improvements finished. I think maybe for the fall of next year, we can focus on something. And anyway, this is something that we can focus on next meeting, potential projects for 2024. I just wanted to put it on here to give some people an idea of what I was thinking so far.
There is one thing that we really need to talk about the next meeting is getting an updated ERI, environmental resource inventory. I mean, it's over time.
Okay.
More than 10 years. And it was money from why do I have trouble every time I try to say this? From New Jersey, Sustainable New Jersey, which has a whole website, and we've never really pursued that because it required having the appointment of a green team, and that was not done in the town. So without a green team, you can't go for certification through Sustainable New Jersey, which I'm not sure that I know fully what the benefits are, but one of the requirements in order to get any points that's how you build the certification, is to have an updated ERI. And they do provide funds, some funds. So
Okay.
we should just talk about it in more detail. I'll try to make a point of getting the details.
Okay, yeah, we can discuss potential projects for next year at our next meeting. There were two ideas that I had that I'll bring up briefly here. One is maybe the Environmental Commission purchasing an iPad, using budget monies to purchase our iPad, so that we can examine digital plans, planning board and zoning board plans, the digital versions on an iPad at our meetings instead of trying to get always having to rely on paper versions. So that's something we can discuss, and also a Zoom account specifically for the Environmental Commission so that the chairperson has control of the Zoom account, so we won't have to rely on Suzanne's Zoom account.
You just came up with that idea tonight, didn't you?
No, it was actually on my paper from a couple days ago.
Yeah, and I tried again to put you in as a host, which you can do at the bottom of the thing, and it doesn't look like it does anything, you know?
Yeah, I never got any notification about that.
No, and I don't know whether, so I need to explore that too.
So, okay, we can discuss those things next month. Also on the agenda was 2024 meeting dates. There is one date that we have a conflict as far as the fourth Monday of every month, and that would be in May. The fourth Monday in May is May 27th, which is Memorial Day. So the day after that is Tuesday, which is a township committee meeting. So I would suggest, now I don't even know if we can do this now. We might have to wait until January to do this because we'll have possibly new members. But Wednesday, May 29th would be an appropriate date for that.
I'm sorry, say that again. May what?
May 29th, which would be a Wednesday.
Well, why not move it forward to the third Monday, which is what we've done in the past and what we probably should have done for this December meeting as well, but we didn't.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I guess there's nothing that is scheduled for the third Monday of the month.
No, it doesn't seem to be a conflict. And that would be what? The
20th. That would be May 20th.
Okay. And that's the only conflict because December, it's
The 23rd.
It's on the 23rd.
Yes. Okay. So we should confirm that next month with the 2024 membership with members of next year.
Yeah. That should be fine. I don't think there's any problem with setting the calendar, you know.
Okay. Great. And I just wanted to make a note that I'll be starting work on the annual report and hopefully have that for everyone next month. Our 2023 annual report. All right, next agenda item, mail and correspondences. So we do have two items that I wasn't aware of. One is just a notification of an LOI. This letter is to provide you with legal notification that an application for a letter of interpretation will be submitted to the NJDEP. And this is for block 1401, lot 2601. So there will be a future application for that block and lot, and before we'll be seeing that sometime in the new year. I don't know why they sent us an application or a letter providing us legal notification. I don't think we always get that whenever somebody applies for a LOI. This is the first time I can ever remember getting a certified mail letter as notification for an LOI.
I think we're supposed to get it, whether or not we've never got it for it, but.
Yeah, but it's odd to get it saying it will be coming as opposed to an application is in.
No, it's somebody applying for a footprint of disturbance. They have to
that's
certified
true.
letters to all the neighbors, and so it's not an application.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't tell you who.
Yeah, it's got the person's name and everything.
Yeah. So Jessica Urban, proposed avenue, block 1401, lot 2601.
Is there a number for proposed avenue?
No, there is not.
Okay. I think it would be better just to put it in there now,
Okay.
into the minutes. That's why I'm asking. And there's something else?
Yes, just a notification since we had to change our meeting date for this year. This is an oath of publication from the Sentinel, just letting us know that they posted our public notice for our meeting. And there was a fee of $4.50 that will be taken out of the Environmental Commission budget.
We have a budget?
Yeah.
We have a budget? What is it? $28?
I don't know.
Now it's 24.
Yeah.
To take the fee out of that.
That's right.
$4.50 less than it was.
Boy, we could maybe get a pizza. Okay.
And also, I think it was last meeting that we were talking about Suzanne's possibly not being reimbursed for the purchases she made
But I
for
was.
the Environmental Commission. And right, she was reimbursed for those.
Without any further discussion, I went in, I was asked to come in and I was given cash.
Yeah.
All right.
Wanted everybody to know that there was resolution to that.
Thank you.
So,
Yes.
Right.
And that's material is now available for next year.
Okay.
yeah, so that was all that I have. So unless anybody has anything else that they would bring up, we are ready for a motion for adjournment.
I just have a question for Barbara, unrelated to our meeting, but since she's on the Zoom, did you get your street vacated last
Yes,
night?
it went fine.
Oh, good. That's my only question. I missed the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned at 9:16. Meeting adjourned at 9:16.
Have a happy new year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
And
Thank you.
apologies to all of you that I didn't turn the darn meeting on and just leave it on before we left, because I thought I was going to get back, but
Well, we couldn't have done it without you, Suzanne, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
no, I think you're right this time. Okay.
I'll see you next month.
Yep.
Next year.
See you
Yeah.
next year.
Suzanne, before we sign off, I know last year you had intentions of resigning from the Environmental Commission after 2023, but it seems that you're going to continue.
Oh, yeah, I figured until I sell my house and I'm not a resident anymore. Since I
Okay.
think I have another year, and who knows how fast the house will sell, and I'm not going to take less than whatever it is that I think it's, when I finally decide what it's worth. With
Okay,
the help
great.
of a
Well,
realtor.
that's
So
great.
who knows? I could be around for, through the summer for all I know. But in any event, I figured I'd start out the year with you guys and we'll see what happens.
Okay, great. Very good.
And I did, as I told John, I'm only going to be in Cape May, my house in Cape May. So I'm happy to still help with Community Day. And, things like that. So,
Very good. All right. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. And I'll be in touch through email for next month's meeting.